So we're going to read about the etymology and also the history of emotions. And this etymology and history is going to come in an audio version where you're going to listen and pay close attention to what the speaker is saying. So listen closely to what the speaker is saying and understand what he really means. Hello guys, welcome to the Brilliant Podcast. My name is Blessed and I'm back again in this episode. Last episode we treat about emotions, and right now we're also going to treat about another segment and another part of emotions. And this part of emotions we're going to treat right here. We're going to treat about the etymology and the history of emotions. And I hope you guys learned a lot about what we discussed in the last episode. And I hope you guys are already paying attention to get this information here, because what we are going to discuss here is going to be really deep and it's going to be profound. It's something that's going to broaden your knowledge and understanding of emotions in general. So we're going to read about the etymology and also the history of emotions. And this etymology and history is going to come in an audio version where you're going to listen and pay close attention to what the speaker is saying. So listen closely to what the speaker is saying and understand what he really means by what the history and etymology is talking about. So listen and pay close attention so you're going to get this information. Etymology. The word emotion dates back to 1579 when it was adapted from the French word émouvoir, which means to stir up. The term emotion was introduced into academic discussion as a catch-all term to passions, sentiments, and affections. The word emotion was coined in the early 1800s by Thomas Brown, and it is around the 1830s that the modern concept of emotion first emerged for the English language. No one felt emotions because or before about 1830. Instead, they felt other things: passion, accident of the soul, moral sentiment, and explained them very differently from how we understand emotions today. Some cross-cultural studies indicate that the categorization of emotion and classification of basic emotion, such as anger and sadness, are not universal, and that the boundaries and domains for these concepts are categorized differently by all cultures. However, others argue that we are some universal base of emotions. In the psychiatry and psychology, an inability to express or perceive emotion is sometimes referred to as alexithymia. History. Human nature and the accompanying bodily sensations have always been part of the interest of thinkers and philosophers. Far more extensively, this has also been of great interest of both Western and Eastern societies. Emotional states have been associated with the divine and with the enlightenment of the body, human mind, and soul. The ever-changing action of individuals and their modes variation have been of great importance to most of the Western philosophers, including Aristotle, Plato, Descartes, Aquinas, and Hobbes, leading them to propose extensively theories, often competing theories, that sought to explain emotion and the accompanying motivators of human actions, as well as its consequences. In the Age of Enlightenment, Scottish thinker David Hume proposed a revolutionary argument that sought to explain the main motivators of human action and conduct, he proposed that the action are motivated by fears, desires, and passions. As he wrote in his book, A Thesis of Human Nature, reason alone can never be a motive to any action of the will. It can never oppose passion in the direction of the will. The passion and is taught to be the slave of the passions and can never pretend to any other office than to serve and obey them. With these lines, Hume attempts to explain that reason and further action would be subject to the desires and experience of the self. Later thinkers would propose that the action and emotion are deeply interrelated with social, political, historical, and cultural aspects of reality that would also come to be associated with sophisticated neurological and physiological research on the brain and other parts of the physical body.